Hey all, Tony here from the Online Seller Circle. Big welcome. And in today's growth workshop, we're going to be talking about building your dream team. So let's jump straight into it and talk about team roles and what it's all about. But who do you want in your team and why? Because first off, we want what I like to call transformational team members, not transactional ones. We want team players, those that are going to inspire you, inspire other team members, those that want to seriously help your business grow and go above and beyond the call of duty, not those that are just there at the end of the month or the end of the week for a paycheck. But here are some notes to remember, because scale can only come from inside. Delegation and the ability to buy help is key. So scale can only come from outside. Delegation and the ability to help is key. So what do you need to do to incentivize your team members to enroll in and obviously enroll them in your cause, in the culture, and to communicate with them regularly, to tell them where you are, where the company is, where you're going as a team, and where you want it to go, and the time scale for that, the targets for that. You want them to be interested. You want them to be interested in what you're doing, what they're doing, what they need to do, and they need to have the ability to win, because when they win, you win. And it's all about capabilities that you need. And what are they? I mean, let's have a look at the list, because what can be done in-house right now and what will need to be outsourced, let's say, to a third party. Even though we say outsource a role, we're talking about bringing people into the team in-house to then outsource to them the processes and the systems that you need to in order to claim back time in your life. And eventually, how can you then bring anything that you outsource to a third party actually back into the business for your team members to then take control of, so that you can then scale that business further? So in no particular order, let's have a look at kind of what you need and ideally what you kind of want to do within the business. So the questions are, who do we need to bring in-house first, and obviously what are the capabilities that we need? So in no particular order, we've got prepping, we've got sourcing, we've got software services that you might utilize from a product sourcing perspective. We've got reviewing your deal channel. We've got purchasing, so of the shortlisted deals, which are going to be purchased, who's going to do that. We've got repricing. Repricing in itself is a strategy that you need to take hold of, take management of. Who's going to do that? Who's going to follow out that repricing strategy on a regular basis? Inventory management across the board, across all marketplaces. Business administration are the back end things that need to be done inside software that you're using at the moment, or your Seller Central account. Bookkeeping, really important one, because if you haven't got anything in place from a bookkeeping perspective at the moment, or you're not using a third party, you're going to be in trouble when you come to do your end of year accounts. So making sure that that's in place. Where do you start? What do you need to do for it? Customer service, looking at recruitment, platforms and marketplaces. You might not just be selling on Amazon, or you might want to look to branch out or potentially open up the Europe channels and perhaps the US in due course if you've not already done so. Ads and conversions for sponsored ads for things that aren't selling, cost per click or pay per click ads for things that are selling and you want to sell more of, and also looking at your strategy, your vision, and your direction, which you never outsource, but you can take advisement. Strategy, vision, and direction is you. It is always going to be you. You are the CEO. You are the leader of the pack. You are the big boss of the company. So it always needs to come from you, but feel free to outsource in terms of advisement, to take on external assistance where needed. So how do we get there? What do we need to do? And let's look at an order. So the plan. Step 1, really easy, sourcing. Why? Because it's the same process over and over and over and over again. Yes, you've got advanced manual sourcing methods of sourcing that you can utilize. Yes, you've got potentially team members within your sourcing department that are going to focus on specific categories or specific advanced sourcing methods, or even specific sourcing software that they might utilize. But the process is exactly the same. Find deals to flip at a minimum profit of X and Y in terms of ROI. So with the right training, that's the first thing. As soon as you can, bring it in-house, bring someone in-house to obviously outsource to. It's a fairly affordable role as well to be able to do that. Either a person or a service if you have a person and you're utilizing a service as well. So this is obviously a deal service that's providing you with deals on a daily basis, such as FBA Deal Source. You can then utilize that person to not only find deals themselves, but also potentially look to manage those deals coming in for you, to cherry pick and find the very best one. Get that person to shortlist them, and you are then saving yourself a ton of time on a daily basis. Now, the role can be part-time too. It doesn't have to be full-time to start with, so you can pay part-time and base that on a set amount of output, so a certain amount of deals per day. The next one, step 2, prepping. If you haven't done it already, look to outsource it to a third party, or alternatively, and this is one I underline, only if you can absolutely hand it over to someone, a business partner or a family friend local to you that you absolutely trust, that lives locally, and you can pay them exactly the same as you pay a prep center, then look to do that. But what you don't want to do is not outsource it to a prep center, keep it in-house. You're wasting time and energy in doing that yourself. If you do outsource it to someone, such as a business partner who lives local to you or with you, make sure that they take on the full management of it. They know exactly what to do. You teach them, they go do it, and they then report back into you. Because once you achieve real growth and you've outsourced this, enabling yourself to focus on the other really important growth and key generating tasks that are going to make you money, you can then, when you're at a point where you've got funds available, you've got time, you could actually bring it back in-house and open up your own warehouse specifically for your Amazon business. The third one, review and purchasing deals. Why? Because it's a time drainer for you. Yes, you need to purchase the deals initially that your sourcing team will probably give you on a daily basis. If you haven't already got a sourcing team, you need to outsource that. But reviewing and purchasing, again, it's exactly the same as sourcing. It is a repetitive process. It is the same thing every single day that needs to be done. You might also want to include repricing in there as well. But reviewing, shortlisting, purchasing, repeat every single day, consistent feed of stock going in to the fulfillment center is going to increase your sales. So remember, you can't continue scaling if you are driving. If you're driving this business, you can't continue scaling. At some point, you need to step back and you need to navigate. To be able to see the mountains ahead of you, you can't do that if you're behind the wheel and you're making the turns on the road. So you have to be able to switch from driving to navigating to achieve real growth. And this is why you need to follow these steps. The next one comes business administration. After that, we're talking kind of repricing, inventory management, customer service, the triple R's that I call them, so returns, refunds, reimbursements. Once these areas are achieved and you can then get yourself out of the sourcing, the prepping, the reviewing, the purchasing, the inventory management, you'll then end up being able to direct the ship much better, allowing more time to focus on the business, expand your product lines, really kind of go refined and look at where you're spending your money. Can you save? Can you get cheaper? Can you buy wholesale? Can you expand marketplaces? Can you expand platforms? Because that's where you're then going to have more time to be able to do that. And again, it's just a repeat process. Once you've finalized and you've refined that process for the next strategy or for the bigger scaling projects, it's then just feeding that back into the team that you've already got working for you so they can take that on. You're driving that ship. So new strategies that can then be looked at also, and I'm talking about other additional e-commerce strategies that you can utilize, other platforms that you can sell on that are going to equate to additional and extra income streams that are coming into the business for you. So let's talk about how you can work with people effectively, because there's gonna be many messages that you receive from your team over time, and you need to learn how to effectively manage them and also communicate with them. And we've received a lot of messages from people in the past where they've said, I tried to hire team members and it just didn't work out. And the problem is 9 times out of 10 is that they didn't know what they were doing. And that's the problem. How can you scale this team and ensure that it's successful at every stage? Because you need to ensure that you have clearly defined the roles that you're looking for, that you understand what they're going to be doing on a daily basis within that role. Before you even look to start onboarding people into the business, you need to be focused, you need to be structured, you need to know what you're doing and also what you need. And people need to feel like they are doing well as well. So when you bring them on board, they need to know that they're doing well, they need to feel that they're doing well. So in order for you to be able to kind of give clear tasks and guidance, that's going to create easy wins, which we spoke about earlier. So ask yourself, how can I build weekly wins into my team? And the simple answer is that you need to give them autonomy. You need to trust in their decision making. And we're talking about when you've got team members in place, or perhaps you're working with a business partner, and this works exactly the same. Don't micromanage them, but know that the tasks that they need to complete and when. So they need to be clear and they need to understand what the expectations are. Give them also access to additional education to upskill them within their role. They're potentially not going to come in as experts. You're going to be needing to train them in line with your processes, your systems, and what you want them to do, because every Amazon business is slightly different in terms of how it's set up, how it runs, what the strategies are that they're using. So make sure that you're not only training them initially, but you're then giving them access to and the ability to have time during that working week to take it on additional courses or education in line with their role that they're interested in, and also tell them the expectations of that as well. And a clear kind of performance improvement and performance CPD plan is really important. So once you bring on board your first team member, look at ways in how you can roll that out on a regular basis so that they're upskilling, because at the end of the day, the more chance and opportunity they have to develop their own skill set, they're going to remain loyal with you, they're going to enjoy their job, and they're going to become the absolute expert in that role, more so than what you were initially when you started training them yourself. And also look at kind of when a team member starts, that you tell them what your expectations are, and you repeat that and you reiterate that at every opportunity so that they know where the boundaries are, they know what the expectations are of them, they know what they need to do in line with their job description, and what they have to do in order to achieve those targets that you've set them within that department of the business. Because when a team member starts with us, I tell them, hey, look, I want you to be the best review and purchaser in the world, and we're going to get that done in 12 months. So from 12 months of you starting, we're going to work together. You're going to learn the processes, you're going to help me develop that system, you're going to help me refine those processes and those tasks even further, to find the inefficiencies, to plug the gaps, to fill the voids, and to make that process awesome, and to become an absolute expert, the very best in the world. And that's what I want, and that is part of my vision and my value within the team. Making sure that also they have a purpose, because when you start with them, you need to teach them how, then you need to step away and actually allow them to do it on your own. So you show them, and the next stage is you then do it together. And then the next step is that you watch them do it on their own. And the final step is that you trust them to do it alone. And there needs to be a purpose that they need to buy into within you and the business. And we find that what motivates people within our businesses, as well as client businesses that we help or we work with, is the shared higher purpose. A larger view, a shared vision of kind of what they're trying to achieve. And if people understand and are aware of that, and they feel part of that, they are then excited by that mission. They're excited by their role. They wake up every morning kind of eager and ready to kind of, set the world on fire for you inside the company. And they're more likely to go that extra mile as well to deliver the best performance that they can. They're more likely to stay up a little bit later, or scratch their heads when things aren't going right to find a solution rather than coming to you with a problem. And also allow them to celebrate the victories that you have and the company has with as much passion and excitement as they possibly can, because every win is a win, and when they win, you win, and that's really important. So make sure they have a purpose and they understand that, and they are buying into that as well. Now, clear goals and visions are also really important, because one thing that you have to do is to invest in them. You hold the vision for them. This is before they even join. You need to know what that vision is. You need to know what those goals are. But when they join, and when you then recruit going forward for every role that you need to fill in order to relieve you from the doing in the business, to work on the business, you need to hold that vision for them. You need to, consistently repeat the expectations and the goals, repeat the company purpose, what you do and why. Start the role and learn then the in-house processes, and over time, they then develop their knowledge and fine-tune their skills in the efficiency of the role and obviously your processes. And they can then help you develop, so move to that next stage, which is then to help you develop where possible and fill those voids and plug those gaps. So in time, they will also reduce the time taken so that they can, within the roles, within the duties that they complete, so that you can then allow them a bit more time every week to upskill, as I said earlier, continued professional development, CPD, benefit from additional education and resources that you can provide them, free or potentially paid, as part of their development and their performance review plan, and also enabling them to therefore gain benefit from that and ultimately perform better for you as well. And it's a cycle, because once they start, develop, upskill, it's then going back round again, develop them further and upskill, develop them further and upskill, and then to the point where they could potentially progress up the chain and up the hierarchy from a staffing position as well. So it's not that someone wasn't good enough. If you are recruiting completely the wrong person for the role, that's not the right profile type and has kind of next to no experience, then obviously it's going to take you a bit more time to train them. But you need to have a good gut feel. You need to go through that process and understand who the right person is for the role that you're looking for. But really what my point is that it's not that someone wasn't good enough. You get out what you put in. If you didn't put in enough time and effort, and you didn't give a clear path to get them to actually be successful in the role that they came in for, then it's actually down to you, not that individual. For example, we have a comprehensive training program for all of our sourcing team members that come into our deal service, so those that source for us to provide that service to clients. And every single person, regardless of their ability at the start, so whether they've never done it before to whether they're an absolute pro of 2-3 years of sourcing, regardless of that experience, we still get them to go through all of our training, which takes around about 2 days in total. So we've got tasks as well, and tests that they complete, quizzes that they complete after each specific stage of that sourcing training program, because we want them to source in line with how we do it. We know what works. We've proven the method. We've got a methodology that works, regardless of whether we are using, reverse searching to kind of manual standard sourcing through supply websites to the marketplace platform. And we have specific expectations. So they have to go through that training program. They have to pass those quizzes, those tests afterwards. And if there's a mark that they don't achieve, they don't pass that pass mark, they need to go back and review it. And obviously we provide assistance there as well. They also have 1 hour of CPD sessions specific to their role every week, where we allow them to plan. We set that within the one-to-ones, but they are able to plan their CPD learning once a week so that they can then have that time available to them to upskill. And we keep a record of that. They keep a journal on Asana so that we know that they've done it, and also we can discuss the outputs, the learning during those one-to-ones on a weekly basis. We also have them go through a new and advanced course every quarter as well, to again help with that upskill and further development to expand their knowledge and also their skill set as well. So we've spoken about kind of the start, development and upskill, but it's also about encouraging them to challenge you too. Encourage them to voice their opinions, to challenge you, to encourage them not to back down, and to have a voice. But they need to know that you're the boss and you always have the final word. But be willing to change their minds as well. And also you need to be willing to change your mind as well, because as they grow and develop, they're actually going to become the expert. They're going to know more than you. They're going to see the loopholes. They're going to see areas of improvement or tools that can be utilized to make that process a lot more efficient. So make sure that you listen to their feedback, because if they're challenging you in the right way positively, that's going to equal growth for your business. And also remember that to help what you are buying, obviously, and what you're buying for, what you're investing, what you're paying for in terms of their service, in terms of their time working for you, that's going to become more valuable over time. So you must be striving to find new and better information all the time in order for your business to grow, because forward motion at any speed is the goal. That's what we are all striving for at the end of the day. And always measure what you do, because stagnation is a killer. You must be able to have the best product researcher on the planet, and you may have the best product researcher on the planet. That's your goal, and that's your 6 month, your 12-month plan, whatever that is, whatever you tell that person that expectation is. Make sure it's obviously realistic. But if you're not challenging them, if you're not giving back to them, you're not allowing them to have ownership of their role, if you're micromanaging, if you don't allow them to get those wins and you're not encouraging them, over time they're going to become complacent. They're not going to perform as well, and potentially they could actually leave your business, which is going to have you in a worse place, especially if you don't see it coming. So just remember also, you're not going to be able to necessarily hire people that are absolutely amazing every single time. It will take time. It's going to take investment from you to get them there. It's going to be a lot easier and much better if you can bring people up in the game, because they're going to be more affordable for you. And what I mean by that is that they have experience, but you then bring them on, and you then obviously layer on that experience, you upskill, you provide that knowledge through the training, through the methodology that you're using in your business. But they're more affordable that way, and they'll be a lot more committed to you because they see the investment that you are giving them. And as a leader, it's up to you to balance the big picture with the individual needs as well. You need to establish the guidelines of how your team works together, and also the performance expectations and the goals as well, and then give them that latitude to get it done, because good leaders recognize that success comes from the chemistry of different strengths and viewpoints as well. So for more information about building your team and to learn how to utilize our partnering companies' services, Global VA Solutions, to help you fuel your business with expert virtual assistants to build transformational teams and build your own transformational team, reach out to me and the OSC team, and we'll be happy to help and answer any questions you have. Hope you found this growth workshop useful, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.